When I saw that TJ Miller was on The Fighter and the Kid last week, I was a bit surprised. I have to double check. I didn't think it was real. I mean, I know that he hasn't been doing stand-up comedy at the highest level, but damn, he was just in a movie with Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool. Did he really go from Deadpool to cesspool? I'm just kidding, but I'm more curious to know why he did The Fighter and the Kid. Is he close friends with Brian Callen and wanted to do them a favor? Is his career dying and running out of options? Or did he simply not check the latest numbers for The Fighter and the Kid podcast? Well, let's get into it.
There's a lot of dads out there that really are like, God damn, it didn't really work out for me, so I'm gonna push my son to be the thing that I
And then
wasn't.
also hate on the others that do pursue their dreams. It's called Reddit.
Yeah, it's called Reddit. It's called a thread about you in particular. I really feel like I have a very strong Denver following,
Yep.
and then I have a small group of people in Denver that feel very strongly about me.
Yes.
And so I am kind of controversial there, but for the
Everyone
most
I know
part,
loves
everybody's
you.
like, yeah.
Denver, I mean, born and
But
raised
isn't
in
it
Denver.
weird? It's a Colorado thing, and everybody. I've met a couple people from Colorado, even people that live there, and they're just cool.
They're
I
nice.
just really get along with them. They're nice. Where are you from originally?
It did sound like TJ Miller and Brian have known each other for a while, and they actually have good chemistry together. It was pretty refreshing seeing somebody like TJ Miller give him some compliments for his few acting roles that he's had. He didn't show the same love to Brendan Schaub, and I think TJ Miller is in a very interesting spot because I really liked him in Silicon Valley. I thought he was hilarious, and obviously on Deadpool as well. But Fighter and the Kid, watching him on there was a bit of a tough watch, and I won't get too much into it because this is old news at this point. And damn, Brendan Schaub needs to really hear the feedback and read the comments because he needs to stop interrupting. It's crazy.
We saw the people saw the HBO special, but I was young. I think I hadn't done as much stand-up. It was supposed to be really avant-garde. I don't think it connected, but it was also a time.
Is that the one where you drink the water like a
gerbil?
gerbil?
Exactly.
Me and my brother could not stop laughing.
It's so funny. But the
Like,
reason
it's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like gerbils drink water like this. He goes, and it's
and actually,
he's
I
in the
riffed
middle
that.
of the set.
riffed that.
It doesn't even make sense. Water's everywhere.
But so
and
that-
it's so random and just nobody would ever
It
do
is
that.
ridiculous. It's called
was so-
meticulously ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
You guys ever see, it's out of nowhere. Just you guys ever seen a gerbil drink water?
Yeah.
It's just like
And
wet
so
the rest of the show.
I love shit.
it's the best.
Yeah.
And so
I think comics appreciate
That's
it.
the greatest. That might be the greatest bit of all time.
so
actually.
funny. Yeah.
That's fucking
Look, it's getting so out of control and so far that this actually happened.
Watching, liking, subscribing.
And then you
The
can
boys
head on
gonna
over to
run
our
it. The boys are
Patreon.
going to run it. We're running now, baby.
yeah, we can head on over.
You're talking about the Patreon?
Well, yeah, you're cutting me off, so it's
carry
it's
on.
highly annoying. But you
Well, I
can
thought you
be
were
on
talking about
the.
Adam Ray's wedding.
No. Adam Ray's wedding Patreon.
People, that's in the comments. Brendan's cutting people up. That's
It's
what he
okay.
loves.
It's one of his things. It's
what I do. It's what I do.
what he does. And
I don't even feel bad for the man at this point. He literally goes out of his way to not change. I find it so hard to believe that the man who hypes and brands himself as, a beast of a podcaster, the one thing that he could actually help you at, and he doesn't know or ignores the most basic of recording etiquette, which is do not interrupt and talk over each other. And real quick, if you guys can do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button, it really helps out a ton. And we are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. It is hard to tell how an actor's career is doing because there are no metrics available to the public, but I guess you could say that he has not done any huge movie role in the past 4 years. I think the last one he did was Ready Player One, and that was in 2018, if I remember correctly. At the moment, he is still selling tickets at comedy clubs, and even though his YouTube channel only has about 27,000 subscribers, his new comedy special that was uploaded about 2 weeks ago has already over 260,000 views, which leads me to think that he has been doing the rounds promoting it. But to be fair, it does look like he just started to focus on his YouTube channel, so that number could very much quickly change in the near future. But even though he's not doing Steve-O numbers, I still thought it was a bit weird that he went on the Fighter and the Kid podcast, because it does sound like he knows about the Fighter and the Kid subreddit or the hate that Brendan Schaub gets. Or at the very least, Brendan Schaub had to show him something to, prep him in case he gets a lot of messages or comments, and that way he can just, disregard those as haters or trolls.
that I'm like not an Like, it's so important for people to know who I am. And so Dear Jonah really shows people that, because I love this guy. Slowly, I'm like, he's the best part
And
of the
Jonah's
show.
headlining himself.
I think it's outrageous. You have to
Yes.
prove you're not an asshole. Anybody who knows you knows you're not.
I know, but a lot
Anybody
of
who
people
knows you as
don't
long
know
as
me.
I do knows that.
Welcome to the club. Same
Yeah,
thing.
right.
I
Drives me
don't
nuts.
get it. I never understood.
Here's one thing that
I don't pay attention to it, so I've never thought that of you at all. But I'll get the same thing too.
But for sure, he has to know now that the show is not as big as it used to be, because it's been 2 weeks and the episode has not passed 100,000 views at the time of this recording. But at the very least, the like to dislike ratio is doing pretty well in comparison to their other episodes. Did he maybe think that by doing the podcast, it could increase his chance of going into the Joe Rogan Experience? Because you'd be surprised, but there is still a lot of people that believe that Brennan Schaub is the door to a JRE appearance. That door closed about $200 million ago.
I don't know what happened to you guys. Maybe the plastic in the water. I don't know. I'm sure Joe Rogan knows why. Let's ask the
He
guy.
might know. Yeah,
What does your
we
buddy
can call
say?
him after.
Yeah, we
this.
should
Yeah,
call
we'll
him.
ask him. Why are we
Yeah,
such?
I've been on his
Why are we such?
podcast. That's the guy that gets me famous. I could write a fucking book deal after going Joe Rogan.
Maybe it's different.
You're a good comedian, bro. Look, I'm funny too.
Who knows, but that was a very interesting move. Some people were commenting about how that was the lowest moment in his career, and I disagree with that. From a YouTube channel's perspective, it looks like he just started ramping it up about 4 to 5 months ago and is already at 28,000 subscribers, which is really good. Plus, stand-up comedy is super hard to get into. But who knows, if he maybe puts in the time and the work, there is a possibility that he could pull it off like Steve-O. I'm not a huge fan of dissecting people's comedy, but if you want my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up comedy at the moment. Things could change, and I respect anybody that does stand-up, so who knows? Or is this another case of somebody that thinks like Brennan Schaub? Because there are a lot of stories of people telling how hard it was to work with him. And he's done a lot of weird things like assaulting an Uber driver, and we won't get into all of that, but he does have a list of interesting situations that he has gotten himself into. The word is that he was pushed off Silicon Valley, the show, because it was extremely hard to work with him. Obviously, according to him, he wanted to leave because he wanted to try out stand-up comedy and other things. But what do you guys think? Is TJ Miller done? Is his career over? Or is this the beginning of a massive comeback? I always like to think that if people adapt to the modern YouTube model and other social media platforms, gets a team behind them and really sticks to it and works hard, I do think that he can, have a massive comeback. I mean, he's done massive projects, huge movies in the past, so he's already familiar with working with hundreds of different moving pieces and has that work experience. So I would think that, this shouldn't be too hard for him. But who knows? Maybe he kills it like Steve-O, becomes the next Steve-O. Or maybe we find out that what people were saying is true and he is difficult to work with, in which case he will get exposed, sadly, but that is the world of YouTube. So that is all we have for today. If you made it this far, again, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. And we are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate that. Dislike if you didn't like the video, but that is all we have for today.